Hey guys, Bump here, bringing another Unholy Death Knight Mythic Plus video. Today we're taking a quick look at the No Apocalypse or Festering Scythe build for the Unholy DK. I've been running this a bit lately and I absolutely love it. This is just insanity when it comes to AoE scaling. You can have a look at this first pull on a plus 12 Necrotic Wake. I'm going to hit 15 million DPS at the peak there. It just scales incredibly well with target count due to the fact that we have passive wound generation, which scales with the number of targets, which feeds back into more Festering Scythes, which gives you more wounds, which gives you more Festering Scythe, and so on, right? It's a really strong feedback loop, and it means that we can burst absolutely insane amounts. Furthermore, I feel like this is a bit quicker and less setup than the standard Mythic Plus build. We don't have to, hit 5 wounds on a target, press fire contagion, and then go from there. This just goes in, gets going straight away. So obviously it synergizes really well with big pools. However, it does also well on short pools or dungeons where packs don't live that long, right? So I think this is my new go-to build. Whenever I play a dungeon, I'm just going to run this. And you might think, well, what about single target? Doesn't it suffer a lot there? In reality, it's a few percent. Picking this build means we can run Harbinger of Doom, which actually gives quite a lot of single target boost. Obviously, we lose some damage from Apocalypse, but it makes up for it, most of it at least. So it's not like you're going to hit really low single target numbers just because you run this. So that's also a benefit. Anyway, this key here, not going to finish it. You might also notice we don't have a healer. That's another thing you can do if you want to. And Ollie does quite well at it because we are incredibly tanky and we can always just Death Strike if we ever run a bit low. So that's just a fun little tidbit. The issue is that we're going to wipe on the second boss and then that's going to be it. But I think it's still a good showcase. I do think Necrotic Wake is the best dungeon for Unholy due to the fact that we can pull that big. You can pull stuff into bosses, at least the first one, and just put out some really, really big damage. Anyway, when it comes to gear and all that kind of stuff, stats, we don't really care that much. In general, you want a good balance of haste, crit, mastery, but I'd say you don't bother too much. When I run it, you can see I have loads of haste mastery. That's primarily because that's my gear I have for raid. If I wanted to, if I had the ability, I would run a lot more crit, I think, but it's not like a huge impact or anything like that. When it comes to your other gear, ideally you would actually run a double Dawnbreaker, Dawn Thread Lining, sorry. That would actually help a lot. It's pretty good due to the fact that we run so little crit in our normal gear that if you then just have 2 crafted pieces with Dawn Thread, you can very quickly compensate with getting that crit, and that's why it has such good value. For trinkets, just a passive one plus a transmitter is like the general go-to. You can also run double active and then use one for each dark transformation window, so you kind of swap which one you use, and that gives you good burst every 45 seconds. But I'm using Arakara here and transmitter. Probably better to use the shell from the raid. I'll put it up here, I don't remember the name, but that gives you lots of stats, so that's pretty good as well. Anyway, all that boring stuff out, let's talk about some talents. What are the options? I feel like the Spectre is pretty locked in. I think the one choice you can make is picking up Unholy Pact instead of a Ghoulish Monstrosity. But the thing is that Ghoulish kind of scales well with your overall damage, so you want that for those really big pulls. Other than that, there's not too much stuff you can move around here. Obviously, you can make the option of running Bar Contagion. The reason I don't do that because I feel like I get a bit overwhelmed with wounds. The reality is, this build, like, you have difficulties bursting all the wounds already. You don't need to generate any more. So that's why you get Pestilence and not Vile Contagion, because that's a passive button, so you don't actually need to spend any GCDs setting up and doing that kind of business. And then also Vile Contagion gives you too many wounds, so you lose quite a lot of value from that. In the class tree, there's lots more choices, like you can pick up AMZs, you can pick up the Death and Case Slow. There's loads of options. You can kind of pick whatever you want. I don't really care that much. All right, well, let's talk about rotation. So how do you actually deal damage with this build? What's the gist, essentially? So it's really quite straightforward. Essentially, what you want to do when you go into a pack, you want to do your standard, as I always do, defile from afar when you run to the pack. When you get there, hit the single naked skirt strike to get your play broom going, and then use all your cooldowns. If you have Erase Abomination, use that after you defile as you run in. But otherwise, just use all your cooldowns. So it's going to be Dark Transformation, you're going to be Unholy Assault when you have it, it's going to be Abomination Limb. After that point, it's really quite simple. You're going to use Skirt Strike if you can. It's really high priority due to the fact that it bursts wounds, which deals loads of damage, but also it bursts your Rider's Chains of Ice, which actually does a really large amount of damage in this build. It's like top 3, top 4 generally when it comes to damage. And then you're going to fill in with Epidemic. Harbinger Doom is quite nice because you have 2 charges, so it's not like you need to instantly spend your Sudden Doom procs. You can hold them a little bit. But you're going to be using that quite a lot as well, due to the fact that you simply don't have enough runes to burst all your wounds in any given point of time, right? So essentially, when you've done your cooldowns, what you're going to do is you're going to be start spamming. It's going to be Skirt Strike. You're going to use Defile once the previous one drops down. I'm a bit uncertain about this. You can do 2 things there. Either use Defile when your Cleave buff runs out, or when the old Defile runs out. When old Defile runs out, if you pop down new one, you get the benefit of keeping Pestilence generating wounds, sorry. And you also get the benefit of the damage. Defile does quite a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain about that, but I tend to pop it down somewhere when that 4-second residual buff is ticking down. But, you know, try it out, see if anything works out. I should also probably sim it, but I don't think it's that impactful. Anyway, so what happens there is that you just keep going that way. So pop down the file when it comes up, and then you're going to spam Epidemics, you're going to spam Skirt Strikes. You will have enough resources here to just keep going. Like, there's no way you're going to run out of resources. And you're never going to press Festering Strike either. Except when you get Festering Scythe procs. Obviously, we're going to cover that. So when you get Festering Scythe, you're going to press that pretty much immediately. Ideally, you wouldn't press it if you have like 6 wounds on everything. But I just tend to send it. Because 1, you pretty much never stacked on wounds on all targets. And 2, it deals a lot of damage on its own. I'm going to die there, so let's just jump forward a bit. There we go. If you look at your damage breakdown, it deals like 4 or 5% of your damage. It really hits hard. It can do like 1 million on all targets in front of you, which is not too shabby, right? And I say that's pretty much it. Like, if you played Unholy before, I honestly think this is simpler Unholy. It's more straightforward. I think it's really quite fun because it deals such insane amount of damage on big packs. I think if you're pulling like consistently 5-6 targets, you're sitting at 3 million every single pack, back to back, which is really quite nice. I think I did Arakara plus 11, 2 chests at it, above 2 million DPS. It's multiple dungeons where you can expect to get 2 million plus, just due to the fact that it deals such insane amount of damage. I think my record is 2.3 in a Necrotic Wake. This one would have probably been a good candidate, but as I said, we didn't make it past the second boss. Anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this guide. Not going to do my standard where I keep commenting, because as I said before, this key won't last for that long. If you saw the thumbnail, that was just a peak DPS. I want to put that in, because I think that showcases the power of this. And I'm pretty certain that Unholy is going to see play in the MDI. This is exactly what you need. You pull the entire dungeon on a big boss, and then Unholy comes in and just annihilates everything. Right, so that's going to be exciting once we get the MDI. Unless they nerf it, please don't do that, Blizzard, because this is really fun. I enjoy it. Also, obviously, we're running Rider here, but I assume that was kind of obvious to all of you. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. What do you think about this video? Are you enjoying the Festering Scythe build? You know? Are you blasting like me? Let me know. Upvote, downvote, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.